If I'm just in business to try to outcompete what other people are doing, instead I should be in business to try to serve you. I should be in business that I should first ask, why am I doing this to begin with? And how can I continue to fulfill that? This is Better Wealth with Caleb Guilliams. Welcome to Better Wealth. In this episode, we're going to talk about infinite versus finite. And this episode is directly inspired by Simon Sinek. And for those of you that know me know that I'm a huge Simon Sinek fan, a huge fan of all of his books. His books Start With Why, and pretty much was one of the inspirations for me to actually do what I did at the bank, and got me to really get clear on this concept of we have to understand why this matters to your life before we figure out what you do. So, Simon, if you're watching this, I love you, man. I'm really grateful for you, and appreciate the work that you continue to do in this space. So let me explain to you the difference between finite versus infinite. So finite has an end to it. You can usually, like for example, a football game is an example of it has a start and an end. And a lot of people, when you think of this idea of like when we think about business, when we think about so many things, we are definitely finite in the way that we think about this. We think about a certain end, and when there's two types of people that are playing the same game, it's fine if you're both playing by the same rules, like football or baseball. It actually happens to work out, and we wouldn't want to watch a football game that had an infinite, like that would. Like, what would that even mean? Like, that would be never ending. No one would watch that. So, like, there's examples and good reasons why there needs to be some finite guidelines in some of the ways that we behave. What Simon broke down in his talk, and which I will include in the show notes, and if you're watching this, I'll include in the description below. What Simon's talking about is the difference between if you have a finite mindset in business or in life, and you're trying to beat people or you're trying to compete with other people, like, you're never going to get ahead. You're never going to be satisfied. And it's so, what's interesting is this is so convicting to me, because growing up, I was so competitive, whether it was ping pong, whether it was ultimate frisbee. I would do things just to try to beat the other team. Like, I would be a terrible team member, not even pass the frisbee to somebody if I thought there was a better chance to throw it to someone that wouldn't drop the frisbee and we'd have a better chance to win. I.e., I would not be a good sport to try to win. In ping pong, I don't care if I was up 9-0, I would try to, just trounce you. There's a lot of bad ping pong stories that I could share. The point that I'm making is I'm not necessarily proud of those moments, and I still fall into that because I, quite frankly, don't necessarily love just playing a game for fun. Like, I always joke around, winning is fun. So yeah, let's, when people just say, like, let's just play to have fun. Well, winning's fun, so like, let's put a score on there. So there's a sense of that, but the video that challenged me is this idea is if we play in business, for instance, if at BetterWealth my goal was to beat my competition, I am selling myself and I am underserving you at an insane level. If I am just looking to our competition saying, okay, what are they doing? What are they doing? And what do we need to do to compete, or what do we need to do with beating them? My focus is on my competitors, and my focus is not on serving you. I want to share another example. Let's say you're in business working for somebody, and your goal is to get right to retirement and then check out because you hate your job and you don't really like the people that you're working with. Think about how that like makes you feel, and think about why that doesn't feel like right. If I'm just in business to try to outcompete what other people are doing, instead I should be in business to try to serve you. I should be in business that I should first ask, why am I doing this to begin with? And how can I continue to fulfill that? What you should be asking is, like, wouldn't you want to live a life that you love today? And shouldn't you do everything with your time and money and abilities to live that out? And so this idea of infinite is not necessarily playing to competitors, not necessarily looking to who you can beat, but playing the game because you love the game so much that you can't imagine not being in there. Imagine if we saw our careers like that. Imagine if we saw our families like that. Imagine if we looked at our wealth not as a goal, not to compare to, I need this because my neighbor has this, or I need to get this house so I can do this. What if your money was an infinite game and you're like, I want to have enough so that I can continue living the life that I love, so that I can continue to serve and grow a family and think generational. Like, think about your kids' grandchildren. Think multi-generations. Like, I'm not married yet, but to think of my children's children and how that determines the way that I live my life now, yes, has a lot to do with how I save my money and use it. But it probably has more to do with how I instill core values and what things I really hold, like what things that are really important to me, and like what values that I'm going to stand for, and who I'm going to marry, and what habits that we're going to do, and how we're going to train our children, and how we're going to teach them about money, and how we're going to teach them about the things that are really important to us. And again, these are the kind of things that I think about, and the reason I'm sharing this with you is this idea of better wealth is so important. And yes, it's so important to understand, yes, and assets, we want to, cash flow, all these interest rates, all these things are important. But we have to understand why it's important. And I want to encourage you to play an infinite game. Play a game that doesn't have any ending. Play a game that you stay in business because you love your business and you can't imagine not being in your business. Save and invest your money because you love your family and what you're doing in your life and you can't imagine not doing that. Don't try to run or escape, and if you have that feeling, that's okay, but realize that there's no quick decision or answer I can give you with your money that can help you get away from that. Make sure what's going to fill you, and then everything that we do with our time and money should back that up. And so, again, I'm really, really grateful for Simon. He spoke, this concept was mainly for businesses and saying, listen, as a business, be in business and serve people powerfully, and don't look at competitors. Look at how you can continue to serve and innovate. And yes, I think this is an awesome thing. If you're a small business owner, take that to heart. But as a person, think about it this way: Are you playing are you a finite mindset? Are you competing with other people? Are you doing certain things with your money because that's what other people are doing? Or are you making decisions with your time and your money based off your values and the things that you truly love? And are you doing things for the right reasons? And this is a good heart check for me, because I'm doing this show not all out of pure heart. I'm doing this show because I want to, again, keep up, compete, do other things. And again, they're not all bad, but I need to check every reason why I'm doing certain things and ask the question, am I doing it because I love what I want to do and I want to continue to serve you? Or am I doing it because I want to beat my friends that are starting on YouTube or starting a podcast? Am I doing it for the wrong reasons? And as I continue to learn this Better Wealth journey, I appreciate you following along and sharing these messages and sharing this. And because, again, I want to be raw and authentic, but I so badly want you to win. I so badly want you to start succeeding. And when you understand that winning isn't beating your neighbor, but winning is getting true with what really matters to you and living your life intentionally today and in the future, that's better wealth. That's better wealth. So make sure to really take that to heart. Share this message with someone that needs to hear this. I would love to see you in the comments. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, I would love if you reached out to me, Caleb at BetterWealth.com. That's Caleb at BetterWealth.com. I would love to hear your thoughts as it relates to playing this infinite game versus finite. Thank you so much for listening to the Better Wealth Podcast. It would mean the world to me if you could hit subscribe, leave a review, and share this with the people that you know and love.